people, the headlines, the issues impacting you, all on This Week in Cincinnati on 9 on your side.
Welcome back on this Sunday. Today in This Week in Cincinnati, we're taking a look at the two leading candidates for the U.S. Senate in Ohio, incumbent Democrat Sherrod Brown and his Republican challenger, Congressman Jim Renacci. You heard from Senator Brown in the previous segment. Now, my interview with Congressman Renacci. We started by talking about the economy. You voted for the tax cut bill. The CBO actually projects the federal debt will grow by nearly 100% by 2028. Do you have any second thoughts about anything in the tax cut?
Well, I wish we could have done better, and I wish we could make it permanent. I think we're going to be making it permanent soon. These are opportunities as I travel the state. People are happy. They have more money in their pocket. They can buy more groceries. They can get their car repaired. They can pay down, with their loan on their car. There are so many things they're telling me thankful for. And at the same time, we had to do it because we have to get economic growth up. Mm-hmm. The tax bill, people will tell you on the other side, my opponent will tell you it was just for the rich, it was for the wealthy. It's just not true. The average American, the average Ohioan will save about $2,000 in taxes. The average Ohioan, the family of four that's struggling to make ends meet, will get about $2,000 back this year. That's positive. That's not crumbs. That's an opportunity to spend some money. At the same time, corporations all throughout Ohio, whether it's Fifth Third Bank, Smuckers, have given out bonuses to their employees, have increased employment in many cases, added to their 401k plan. This is why we have an economy that's growing, and a lot of positive things are happening. We can't stay in a 1.8% growth rate, which is the President Obama years.
Speaker Ryan has spoken about entitlement reform, Medicare, Medicaid, people that can't pay for their food because they're paying for all their medications. There's so many different scenarios, obviously, we've done stories on. So when you were looking at entitlement reforms, where do you stand? Do you think there's a need to change what's in place now?
Well, first off, I would tell you we need to protect and make sure we are sure that the promises made are kept. So there are promises made, and some people have lived their whole life preparing for Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid. We can't take that away from them. At the same time, career politicians like to stick their head in the sand and say, well, it'll get fixed because I only need to get past one more election. That's a real issue. We do need to look at reforms that make sure that in the long run that these programs are available to future generations as well. And that's why I've said there are a whole bunch of things. Entitlements were put into place 42 years ago, assuming people would die at age 64. Mm-hmm. It's not the case anymore. So we need to look at ways, all of the above. We need to, and I've said, we need to start looking at means testing. I'm a big believer in that. We need to, there are billionaires and millionaires that I know have signed up for Social Security. I know that they don't need it, but they say it's something I paid into. But at the end, we probably need to look at that for the future generations. It's an insurance program in many ways, and I always use the example. You pay insurance for your house, and if you don't need it, you don't ever use it. It's the same thing on Social Security. We need to make sure the people that need it get it, but I'm not too sure billionaires and millionaires really do need it. And I say that about myself. I came here as a poor kid from Western Pennsylvania, lived the American dream. Ohio's been great to me, and I'm so happy that I've been able to live the American dream that I'd love to give back. One of the reasons I'm running for Senate is to give back. But the other thing I believe is when it comes to Social Security and Medicare, I'm not going to need those dollars, and I want to make sure the people that need it have it and it's available.
So when you hit retirement age, you're saying you won't claim any retirement benefits?
I'm saying that
for yourself.
Well, I'm saying that I don't need it, and I want to make sure that it's given back. And that's why I said we should do that as a standard. That's why I talk about means testing.
Right. I mean, you said millionaires and billionaires don't need those benefits because they have the money. I'm asking you, when you turn 65 and you're eligible to receive those benefits, are you going to not take those?
Well, I've told everybody that if I don't need it, I don't need to take it. And I do believe it's necessary for those that do need it. And that's why I believe in this safety net, and will continue to believe in the safety net.
What do you feel about the president's foreign policy? Iran and North Korea. North Korea now working on a possible second summit, unprecedented, historical. Does that send a positive signal around the world? Some of our allies a little concerned about the handling of it. Looks good with optics, but not necessarily anything being seen from denuclearization standpoint. And of course, South Korea has their own interaction with North Korea, and they appear to be trying to negotiate deals as well. What is your perspective on that?
Well, look, I go back to the Obama years, and when he let the red line be crossed in the Syria issue, he opened up a can of worms, which many times our enemies didn't fear us, and our allies didn't trust us. And I heard that. I traveled the world. I made a couple trips and listened to these people who say, we don't trust America anymore. Some of our allies today, I think our enemies fear us a little, and our allies question us. But in the end, remember, when Trump says America, when President Trump says America first, he doesn't say America alone, and I think that's the key.
The first part of the Chinese tariffs have gone into effect. You open up any cupboard, any closet in an American household here in Cincinnati or across Ohio, there are products from China. So these tariffs are going to hit your constituents. Do you agree with the tariffs that have been put in place?
Well, the one thing to remember is my opponent, Sherrod Brown, does agree with them. He likes the idea of tariffs, and he talks that that's one of the reasons that he supports President Trump's tariff issue. I support President Trump's tariffs on a negotiation basis. I do think that we didn't start the trade wars, China did. And what we need to do is get to a fair and level playing field. I believe in fair trade, free trade, and reciprocal trade, and I think the president's using these tariffs to try and get us there. But in the end, I want to be very cautious. As I've told the president directly, I represent Ohio, and I'm concerned about Ohio issues. We have manufacturing, we have agriculture, we have the auto industry. I want to make sure that I represent Ohio's interests. And as you said, Ohio's interest is there's a little concern about a long war, tariff war, trade war, and that's the type of representation I want to be. Everything I always do, I always go back and ask the people of Ohio, and I do know there's some concern, but right now when I talk to agriculture, when I talk to manufacturing, they're saying, look, we would love to get to what the president says, no tariffs, and we'll give him the time to negotiate. But at some time, we don't want this to be long drawn out. That's my position as well.
What's your proudest achievement in the service in the House?
Well, I always chuckle. My proudest achievement is getting there because I never really knew what an honor it would be to be there. But some of the bills, my bipartisan work, I have a bipartisan breakfast group that started the first month I was there because I was tired of the back and forth between Republicans and Democrats. I made a statement in a committee. And one of the Democrats from the other side, John Carney from Delaware, who is now the governor of Delaware, came over. We talked. We started a breakfast group. We meet on a regular basis, on a weekly basis. 12 or 13 Democrats, 12 or 13 Republicans come together. We've passed about 15 pieces of legislation. I'm proud of that. I'm proud of the work I've been able to do to get bills passed. I'm not real happy with the way the system works because you work real hard in Washington. You get a bill and then leadership takes that bill, puts it into a bigger bill, and passes it out. So it doesn't become your personal bill. But I'm proud that I worked on it, got it done. I was a victim of identity theft. I'm proud that I was able to work across the aisle to get an identity theft bill passed out of the House and the Senate and moved on to the President for signature. These are some of the things that I know I've been able to do and get accomplished.
Senator Brown and Congressman Renacci debated each other 1 week ago. We'll have some of that debate for you when This Week in Cincinnati returns.